To file the bill, we have to have the necessary information, lahat po ng definition of terms, paano po natin bubuuin tong department na to? Ano po ang kasali dito? Ano po ang kailangan gawin ng department na to? We have to define what is the real reason, what is the foundation of this department, 'di ba? Kung ito pong Department of Sports and Culture is when if we file this bill, it has to encompass what is it supposed to do and what is it supposed to do for the future of our country, di ba? So going back to what I said earlier, this is supposed to focus on the guidelines. Ano po ang guidance for the country in terms of sports development and cultural development? Ano po ang mga kailangan niyang gawin para isulong ang ating sports development dito sa ating bansa? Ano ba ang kailangan gawin ng departamento na to para isulong ang cultural enhancement ng ating bansa? How do we, what kind of steps do we have to take? Sino ba dapat ang kasali dito? Ano-anong mga positions will be created for this? And of course, the most important, saan ba kukuha ng funding? Di ba? At ano po ang funding nito? That's the most basic steps in creating this law or creating this bill. Now, after the bill has been filed, it will be taken up in the different committees in Congress, or it will be scheduled and then taken up in the committees. I think this will be taken up in the Committee of Youth and Sports. Dito pong pagdedebatehan kung ano po ang magagandang points, ano pong hindi po nasali dito, ano pong kailangan tanggalin. Dito po magdedebate lahat ng mga concerned agencies. So, ang mga concerned agencies here would be the NCCA, the Philippine Sports Commission, even like the private sector groups like the Philippine Olympic Committee, yung mga yung mga different arts associations, even sporting associations, even DepEd will be part of this because in the future, our goal here is, kagaya po ng sinabi natin kanina with the RA 9155, na wala po ang culture sa mga eskwelahan, lalo na sa grade school, sa ating mga bata, na wala po ang Bureau of Physical Education sa school. Now, the Department of Sports and Culture should have guidelines to direct the Department of Education na ano ang kailangan nilang ilagay dyan, anong klaseng curriculum, anong klaseng physical activities ang nire-recommend nila para ang ating mga kabataan, they get a well-rounded education. Hindi lang po, kaya po ng sinabi ni Coco kanina po, na magiging robot lang po ang ating mga kabataan. I mean, that's true. If we only study what we are given in books, and then we don't pursue any other cultural aspects or even physical activities, robot lang po talaga tayo. We only understand what's in the books and we don't understand the rest of what's happening in the world. And then that's such a sad future for our country. Hindi po ba? Kasi we know that the Philippines or the Filipino is capable of so many things. We have so many great champions, not only in sports but in culture as well. If you look at our recent history, we have an 8-time world boxing champion with Manny Pacquiao. He is the most iconic boxer this world, hindi lang po ang Philippines, this world has ever seen in the past decade or so. And then on top of that, you just go to any other country in the world. You turn on the TV, in any talent show in the world, sino ang nagtatop? Top 5, top 10, even top 3, or even nananado? There's always a Filipino. Diba? Or always a overseas Filipino or somebody who came from the Philippines, somebody born with Filipino blood that's dancing or singing their way to the top of these competitions. And then that's how ingrained yung mga ganito po sa buhay natin. And then hindi po natin nabibigyan ng importansya sa ating bansa, which is really sad. So with this, the creation of the department, yun na nga po, we will debate on it in the committees. We will figure out ano ba ang pinaka-importante, and then we will bring it to plenary. And then that's where we will pass. We will get more debates from the plenary, and then we will pass it. Now, once there is a Senate version and a House version, then it will go, and it's passed in both branches of Congress. Then it will go to the President for his signature. And then that is how that law will be ratified.
Okay. Tanong ko lang kay Sir Coco, no? From your viewpoint, gaano ba kadali o kahirap, no, para ipasa ang mga ganitong panukala na itayo yung departamento ng sports at saka culture?
Alam mo, sa totoo lang, madali kung may kakampi. Alam mo, dun sa Kongreso, sa experience ko doon, may nakita ako mga batas na magaganda. Kaya naman maipasa, pero wala siyang kakampi. Pero may mga batas na mahihirap, pero ang daming kakampi.
Lusot agad.
Lusot ka agad. Diba? So, ganun lang yan. Kaya kami nandito, gusto namin maging kakampi nito. And sa tingin ko, pag binigyan kami ng panahon, edi kaya.
Alright.
Congressman Mark, you have been in the House of Representatives and you are familiar with the system. Was there any point that you felt disappointed or the difficulty in getting things done?
Well, kagaya po ng sinabi ni Coco, it is a numbers game in Congress. In Congress, there are 285 members of Congress. In the Senate, there's 24. So you need less people in the Senate to support your bill. Pero in Congress, you really need a vast majority. Now, to get 285 people is no easy task. Pero kagaya rin po ng sinabi, if you have friends there, it's easy, di ba? Now, if we have more representation for sports via PBA party list, magagawan po namin ng paraan yan para maipasa natin ang mga legislation na kagaya nito na kailangan talaga ng ating bansa. It's hard for me to really emphasize that this Department of Sports and Culture is so essential to our country. It is so essential because matagal na tayong nawalan eh. We just, for 15 years, kagaya po ng sinabi ni Coco, for 15 years, we've discarded culture and sports, lalo na sa mga kabataan natin. So, for the past 15 years, lahat ng mga kabataan, they have no guidance, wala silang puso para sa sports. So anong nangyayari? And then we don't do well in the international sporting competitions. We don't do well in the Olympics, in the SEA Games, and then we always complain. We complain and complain and complain. I think it's high time that we stop complaining and do something about it. And then I think the more representation we have in Congress, the better it will be.
Okay.
Sir Gogo, about the PBA party list proposals to build the Philippine Sports Academy. What is this about?
That is one of the gems of our proposal talaga. The Philippine Sports and Cultural Academy is it's an ideal vision of where our barangay athletes will go to. So meron tayo sa ating Department of Sports doing the discovery of our children, of our athletes and our artists in the far-flung barangays and the poorest of the poor communities and give them a chance. And then once we get them, we will put them in the academy for further development. And while in the academy, they are allowed, because their curriculum allows it, and the curriculum demands it, that they will be able to compete worldwide. You get your Filipino athlete fully supported by the national government. Wow, yan ang magandang dream. And you know what? Sa tingin ko, kaya natin.
Abi ni Musals mo na problema nato kung natin mga atleta, natin mga champions no sa mga cultural events. Ang problema manglimos na sila sales no going to their LGUs no asking for transportation to support them for them to be to represent no kung saan man yung event na yon no?
Minus kaya suporta sa
Minus ang suporta in short.
Okay, ang atong problema, Jude, is that it's sadly appearing na kining mga sports o cultural competitions para lang para sa mga dato. That doesn't seem to make sense. Diba? Kay ang sports and culture should not know poverty. Should not know kung kinsay dato, kinsay kabus. It has to be kinsay may talent. Who has the talent who can make it to the top. You see somebody talented, develop it. Don't just leave it
Wag
there.
mo gawing beggar sa
Exactly. Like, look at this. Let us discuss this a little, if okay
All
lang.
right. You have the time.
Manny Pacquiao, where did he start? And who gave him the chance? Who gave him the chance? Private individuals more than the national government.
Correct.
He's a very legendary guy because he started without any support. Sariling sikap lang.
Pandesal ray kinaon.
If he had something to eat
Yeah.
to begin with. And we have many stories like that. Ang dami mong marinig from Paralympics. Kung Mark should tell you about a lot of the people that he's helped through the years. And he knows all of these stories. Rich, poor, all of them talented, all of them having a really hard time. And there are so many nightmare stories talaga.
And if I may add,
Yeah.
even in our constitution nakasulat na, that sports is for all. Hindi lang po para sa mayaman, hindi po nga para sa mga mahihirap. It's for everybody eh. It's for the young, for the old, Christian, Muslim, male, female. It's for everybody. We have to have accessibility for everybody. Now, if you have something like, yun na nga, nakita natin sa DepEd na abolishing physical education from the curriculum, abolishing culture from the curriculum. Talagang, I think that's going against the Constitution already, that we are supposed to be providing sports for everybody. And now we can see that's taking an impact on our culture and our society, 'di ba? Nauubusan po tayo ng mga champions, nauubusan po tayo ng mga role models.
Correct.
And then we're running out of people to look up to. And we always blame everybody else. Bakit wala? Bakit wala? If we look at what the administration or what the government is doing nowadays, kasi tinanggal talaga nila ang importansya, tinanggal ang focus. And I think that's going back. We should really bring the focus back. And then with the Academy of Sports and Culture, this is also this is tangible eh. Ang Department of Sports and Culture, it is a bill creating a department. Pero for some people, it's not tangible eh. But the academy itself is tangible. It means nakikita, nahahawakan, napupuntahan, people will experience it. And then that's one of our, kaya nga sinabi po ni Coco, it's the gem of one of our legislative agendas is because, you're giving continuity to the program.
Yeah.
'Di ba? Marami po nagko-complain na okay, pagkatapos po silang manalo ng competition, saan po pupunta ang mga atleta natin? Ngayon wala because there is no continuity. With the academy, there will be continuity. 'Di ba? There will be somewhere they will be going. They will be, and then in that academy, they will be learning different things. Hindi lang po para sa sports, but later on in life, something that they can use after they retire from their careers, after they finish winning medals for our country or representing our country. At least may mapupuntahan sila afterwards. Matuturoan pa natin sila for their future. Hindi lang hanggang sa ganun, tapos kung tapos na po sila mag-serve or mag-represent ng country, bahala na sila sa buhay nila whether they won or not. Pero kawawa naman po na we don't bring them to the next level or for their whole lives. And this is the solution for that.
Yeah,
I'm also
sure.
very happy to report, since we're talking about concrete actions na kung sa atong ginahimo. Congressman Mark Sambar, actually in the 15th Congress, he filed and introduced the bill giving incentives to athletes, to the coaches, and to the trainers. And last November 13, it was passed into law. So
Wow.
there is that.
Congratulations.
All it takes is the effort. All it takes is somebody to introduce it, somebody to start it. And then you've got this attention rolling, and that's how concrete action comes to life. Dili lang storya-storya ba? You need an actual physical congressman to write a bill, go to the Congress and say, I would like to file this and I would like to see this into law. It can happen because all you need to do is do it. May principle eh, just do it.
Alright, Sal, sa nindot ang plano sa PBA party list, particular kining Philippine Sports Academy, at least up to the barangay level, doon ay chance ang atong mga talents to go to the top. Anyway, mag-break tag ikaduhang higayon mga kaigsunan. Ay lang hawa diya kay balikan dahil nato ning atong nagkainit ng mga issues. Thank you.
Kalamboan, Dala, Tanan.
Ako day si Lisel Torres, 23 years old, taga Maa. Ato ko diri kay nangita ko trabaho isip cashier. Alas 9 ko nato sa buntag, nagdala ko sa ubang dokumento sa mga sagoy data. Kay gusto ko makatrabaho, makatabang sa kong pamilya. Daghang salamat sa job fair diri sa NCCC nga gidala ni Congressman Carlo Nograles. Tungod yan na katrabaho nako sa Steelwork Solution as promo merchandiser. Ako si Lisel Torres, karon Nanay Kay.
Kalamboan, Dala, Tanan.
Balik ta sa atong programa sa Kalamboan, Dala, Tanan, mga kaigsunan. Ginaisigutan nato no, kung saan pagbarog niya itong Department of Sports and Culture o itong Philippine Sports Academy. Balikan lang nato ang atong duha ka dinapit nga bisita. Congressman Mark, how important is sports development in nation building?
Well, sports development is an integral part of nation building, and why? Because we can see that so many things can be put together into sports. Ano ibig sabihin po nun? So many programs can be attributed to sports na hindi nga malaki ang gastos, na pwedeng isabay-sabay lahat ng programa. Now, to give you an example, programs for health, anti-drug programs, diba? Programs for the elderly. Pwedeng isabay-sabay lahat ito sa sports eh. Pero hindi nagagamit ng mabuti ng ating administration, ng ating pamahalaan. Dahil wala ngang nagbibigay ng guidance eh. Like all of these can be integrated in one sports program. One sports program can easily solve our drug issues, can easily solve our health issues, can easily cater to our senior citizens, can easily make programs that will help children grow in the future. Pag wala po tayong department that will focus on that will give importance to that, wala talaga tayong programa that we can rely on in the future. So it's really, really hard for the other agencies to come up with a program, pero wala namang guidance from an actual department that will take initiative, take leadership in that role. Kasi wala rin naman silang technical know-how eh. Only a department dedicated to sports and culture that will have the technical know-how, that will have the people who are experts in that field. Those are the people that will be able to create those programs.
Okay, I would like to ask the same question to Sir Coco. No, Sir Coco, gaano ba ka-importante ang sports development sa nation building?
Well, Kuya, let me answer that in a practical manner. Whenever Manny Pacquiao fights, there's zero crime in the whole republic. If you want to talk about nation building, how about that? Zero crime. That means we are as one, we are in full support of Manny Pacman because he brings with us our dreams and our aspirations as a nation. And our framers of the Constitution also realized that. Can you imagine our Constitution? It mentions at least three times the word sports and how integral it is in nation building. But even if our Constitution is almost 30 years old, we have only had one representative for sports, Congressman Sambar. There was no sectoral representative in the Aquino administration or the Ramos administration. And there was only one party list since the ERAP administration to present. And that is the PBA party list. And we'd like to continue that.
And can I just add very shortly?
Yeah.
Kagaya ng sinabi po ni Coco regarding our Constitution. 30 years po ang Constitution natin. But out of those 30 years, 15 years po nawala po ang physical education sa mga public school.
It's a real problem.
Ibig sabihin, for that time, 15 years lang talaga binigyan ng importansya ang sports. So, talagang wala po tayong dapat aasahan for sports. But as we can see, we have passion for sports. Whatever happens to Manny Pacquiao becomes #1 news in the whole nation. Whenever Gilas plays, nanonood kagad lahat ng tao. Whenever the LaSalle and Ateneo plays basketball against each other, everybody's tuned into that. Whenever the volleyball players or even yung mga cheer dance po natin, nanonood po lahat ng tao. And you cannot deny that there is this passion
Correct.
in the Filipino for these kinds of activities. But if there is no government support, we cannot really take it further than what we have right now. And we will continue to complain na bakit wala. Kasi wala talaga. Yeah.
Alright. Sir Coco, tingin niyo ba may pag-asa pa ang Pilipinas na makamit yung pinakaasam-asam na ginto dyan sa Olympics?
We have Olympics next year.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we are preparing enough. So, kung magka-gold tayo next year, kaya naman. Meron namang tsamba. But when it comes to the science of it, well, kailangan natin suportahan yan.
Supportahan.
So, if we can have the gold, I think we have the talent for it. Do we have the technical capability for it? I think we can. We can. There's still time. Anyway, next year pa naman yung Olympics. Kung bibigyan natin ito ng pansin, bibigyan natin ito ng awareness, at baka bukas magising yung ating mga administrators at sasabihin, uy, kailangan na natin mag-train, aba, why not? Pwede.
Alright.
Congressman Mark, yung druga ho daw ay may iwasan ng mga kabataan. Kung ang sports ang pagtutuunan ng pansin, meron ba tayong mga statistics patungkol dito, Congressman?
Well, I don't have exact numbers, but I've seen reports from the US, from Australia, from different first world countries that there is talagang a correlation between direct correlation between sports and then decreased drug use. So ano po ibig sabihin yun? Pag nabibigyan ng programang sports ang mga kabataan natin, mas bababa ang drug use or ang prevalence ng drug use. Ibig sabihin po, because naging conscious po yung mga kabataan eh. When they're participating in sports activities, lalo na pong team sports, nako-conscious po sila eh. Because they want to perform at a high level, they don't want to disappoint their teammates, they don't want to disappoint their coaches, they don't want to disappoint their parents na they're competing at such a level na drugs will just will interfere eh. Naintindihan nila na drugs will just make me bad at sports. So talagang ipapalayo po sa droga eh. So this is really, like I mentioned earlier, it's so integral with nation building because it's a program talaga that will address drug problems here in the Philippines. Eh. And I think it's a missed opportunity for our government that we can have such a easy to implement program but we don't use it properly.
Sir Coco, how serious is the drug problem sa ating bansa ngayon?
Well, I've read some studies and it sadly shows that there are approximately 6.7 million Filipinos who are substance abusers. 6.7 million.
Lang naman.
Well, you know, a concern of one is a concern of all. Now, this is very concerning. You know, we look at the statistics, give us these numbers, when we begin to ask, ngano inani kadako? And another study shows that the reason why we have so many substance abusers is because of corruption and lack of law enforcement. I, for one, believe that that is correct. Science yan, statistics yan, mahirap makipagdebate. But there is an alternative solution to that. And it's not increasing the law enforcement, and it's not decreasing corruption. You know what it is? It's changing the culture. You know, I believe if your numbers show 6.7 million substance abusers, that is already a cultural problem. And if you are looking at it that way, changing this paradigm, this mindset, na tanaw ta, unsa may problema? They're probably bored. They have no other output. They have no other things to do. Mularay-laray lang ba? Mag-standby lang dito. Unsa man atong buhaton, mag-inom na lang ta. Mag-drugs na lang ta. Eh, mas maayo na lang siguro mag-basketball kaysa mag-adik-adik. Diba? But there are no viable outputs eh. Imagine, can you even walk to work? You cannot. You cannot bike to work. You cannot walk to work. You cannot even take a motorcycle and know that you're safe. So we have to change this paradigm. We have to make the world safer, and the world itself will save itself. That's how I see it. It's a cultural problem, and 6.7 million substance abusers is a cultural phenomenon that can only be solved by a cultural solution.
Okay. There's this question from our barangay for Congressman Mark. Tinatanong nila kung pwede ba daw mabigyan ng pensyon ng mga atleta na nagbibigay ng dangal sa ating bansa.
Well, yeah, based on the law that was passed recently, there is a provision there that yung mga nanalo po ng mga medals or mga gold medal, silver, bronze sa international competition, pwede silang bigyan ng pension. It's already, I think it is also it's written, it's a clause in that law, or there's a section in that law na talagang bibigyan sila because of their previous performance for our country, that they've brought na dinala nila ang ating bandila sa ibang bansa para i-represent ang ating bayan, nanalo sila at nagbigay ng karangalan sa ating bansa. It's only fair that we should reward them properly. Yeah, so I think it is part of this newly passed law to give pension to athletes that have brought honor to our country.
Sir Coco, ano ba talaga ang problema ng sport sa ating bansa? Tila wala itong direksyon.
Well, actually, hindi sa problema ito na problema. It's more like kulang sa guidance, kulang sa ating roadmap. Everything has stagnated. So if you can look at a pond, it's just a pond full of tadpoles. What we want is a waterfall, a deluge of a lot of things. So that is what we need. We need our sports to really have a life of its own and a